AskReddit by RGDJR. Chris Rock is performing a stand-up gig tonight in Boston, his first appearance since the Oscars. If you were Chris, what would be the first joke you'd tell, assuming you'd want to acknowledge Will Smith's slap? Walk out, wait for applause to die down, then. Don't get any ideas, none of you motherfuckers are famous. This would play well. Apparently Will's relationship is open to anything but jokes. Maybe just a list of the comebacks that went through his head, but were withheld at the time? Like my favorite one. Don't worry, this is the Oscars. You don't have to worry about anyone up on this stage saying your wife's name. This took a while to sink in, but holy fuck. He really deserved the award for Best Actor, because after watching the movie Ali, I thought he actually knew how to throw a punch. Supposedly he made a similar joke backstage after the incident, according to a source. He said something like, "I just got hit by Muhammad Ali and I don't even have a scratch. Allegedly lol." You know how you can tell that slap wasn't staged? Will didn't make the studio give Jaden a role. This is one I hadn't heard before. Nice. To get started, are there any insecure couples in the front row? Okay, I need y'all to move to the back. Riff off of Pee Wee Herman's opening remarks at MTV Awards after he was arrested for masturbating in public. Seen any good TV lately? I think it was heard any good jokes lately, because that year was filled with Pee Wee Herman jokes. I was at the Comedy Cellar, which based on the timing must have been one of the first times Michelle Wolf performed after the White House Correspondents' Dinner. She said something like, "I'm Michelle, and I never thought I'd say this, but you probably know me from Fox News." I saw Aziz Ansari at the Comedy Cellar during his sexual assault allegations. His jokes would start out on a serious note, referring to it like, "Listen, I know I gotta work on myself, for the last few months have had a lot of hard lessons for me etc," and then go into a completely different story but with the same tones. Then at the very end he gave a little more emotion and expressed gratitude for us giving him a chance to perform BC he wasn't performing at the moment. It was a great set. Someone said he should get a helmet and a neck support. I think this would have been the first part of the joke, and then he should have said, "I brought this because my next joke is about Shaquille O'Neal's wife." Edit. Wow, this blew up. Thank you so much for the awards. Or wear shin guards and say my next joke is about Kevin Hart's wife. No talk of Will Smith. Still tore the house down. He's got another show at 1030. When he walked out, the fucking building shook. 10 minutes standing. Oh, he said, "See Monday people, let me do the show." The guy's material is brilliant. Comic genius. Talked politics like if he was possessed by George Carlin. The whole thing was a comedic masterpiece. Covered Ukraine, Trump, Hillary. No holds barred, no one was spared. Tonight wasn't for the squeamish. Fucking hilarious. Comedic gold. Chris Rock is a comedy legend and a class act. First show at the Wilbur. Thank you Chris, you're a class act. The closure I needed, thanks for the update. So, I fired one of my joke writers Monday. This one. LMAO. I feel like a joke about Will Smith would just be cheating at this point, but I guess that's never bothered him before. Will would literally fly out to Boston just to slap his ass for that one LMAO. Chris in these comments taking notes. Unless Chris is OP lol. Just look out at the audience, squinting a bit in the lights as you scan the crowd carefully until the laughter starts, then just start the act without mentioning it at all. But I hope he has bodyguards, as some idiot might try to rush the stage. This is an underappreciated one. I can actually see Rock doing this. Just hamming up the careful scanning without saying anything. Maybe start with a "FU," and that's it. Now before we start, Does anyone here have a wife with a medical condition that I need to be aware of? Lol, watch this be Chris Rock who made this post and you just made him a couple more million indirectly. So, I guess you've all heard that G.I. Jane 2 probably isn't happening. This is my favorite. And he says it in a super bummed out tone like that's his only real concern. Well, after my busy schedule of producing Will's biggest hit in years, I was able to make it here tonight. Deleted. So how many of you got your tickets in the last 3 days? Scalpers working overtime. Entering the stage wearing an exit port. Getting wheeled on stage in a wheelchair would be hilarious. Come out wearing a helmet and with 2 bodyguards by his side. Yep, just walk on stage with a full face crash helmet on, tinted visor down. Get to middle of stage, stop, flip the visor up and look around at the audience as if trying to pick someone out. Maybe using those little theater binoculars. I'd be like, you're never gonna guess what happened to Emmy the other day. Keep dancing around it. I had a hell of a week, let me tell you. I had to pick up my tux from the dry cleaners for the Oscars. Tells some cliche story about dry cleaners messing something up. After that, I arrived at the show and had what some might call an altercation. Everyone knows that I don't like arbitrary food or beverage, and those sobs put that in there. I knew that this was going to be a bad night. Tell a few more harmless anecdotes leading up to the slap, then skip right over it and thank the audience. Publicly thank Will Smith for all the extra ticket sales. This. Almost like the humor isn't in a joke at their expense but in acknowledging how crazy it's been, and then I'd like to personally thank Will and she will shall not be named for the boost in popularity. I ain't been this popular since. Well damn, ever. Looks like everybody loves Chris now. This reminds me of Pee Wee Herman's first show after getting out of jail for allegedly masturbating in a theater. He walked out and shouted, "Heard any good jokes lately?" Chris Rock will either make one joke about it and move on like Pee Wee did, or he could make his entire act nothing but jokes about Will Smith's wife. I think everyone's hoping for the latter. Richard Pryor stopped doing comedy for a bit after he accidentally lit himself on fire freebasing cocaine. His first show back, he looked around the audience for a bit and said, "Anybody got a light?" When they asked if I wanted to be an Oscar host, I didn't know they meant De La Hoya. So much money for just one round. I think you all might be tired of watching my face. It has been slapped all over the news lately. I'm hearing all these great suggestions with CR's voice in my head. Deleted. But he's to keep her name out his fucking mouth. F it, I would call my whole tour so Will Smith just slapped me at the Oscars and travel from city to city with it. Or to quote himself, call it the Will Smith slap the shit out of me tour. I'm gonna open with some alopecia jokes. And then 2 huge bodyguards walk out and stand on either side of him. Bodyguards come out to "Here come the men in black." Double quote. Yeah, know what I heard about Jada Pinkett Smith? Long pause, as he looks nervously around the room. Not a damn thing. There are ones that are funnier than this, but this one has the best ratio of funny to well-crafted taste. I was gonna say something about Will and Jada, but decided to wait until August. I was gonna say something about Will and Jada, but decided to wait until August comes. A minor adjustment. If I were him, I would acknowledge Questlove and his documentary's win. I asked all my friends who won the Oscar that Rock was about to hand out before the slap and no one knew. It's really sad how after all that time and work they put into Summer of Soul and all anyone is talking about is a slap. Hey, everybody. Now, this is a story all about how my face got turned slapped upside down. If I knew Will was gonna get so mad about my making fun of his wife, I would have asked one of her boyfriends for permission first. Stealing this from somewhere else, but in the same vein. I have to give Will props, he's a better man than me. I'd never defend someone else's girl like that. He slapped me so hard you would have thought I slept with his wife. Hey all, I'm here from Will Smith's first real hit in years. It would be funny if he flinched when the clapping starts. I thank the Lord for Will Smith. That man made me think twice about my Alec Baldwin jokes. Deleted. I'd walk to the edge of the stage and walk alongside it, then say good, no stairs coming up here. I've got time to run if one of you decides to get out of your seats. I could definitely see him doing this one. Stroking his cheek, can you see the Fresh Prince? Heard any good jokes lately? Any of you guys think this year's Oscars was slapping? In case you didn't know, it was all staged. Really. The entire audience were paid actors. Second one is gold. Classy and funny. And best of all, it keeps his wife's name out his mouth. I'm gonna be direct tonight. No tongue-in-cheek jokes. The cheek's still sore. I don't like the new, darker Fresh Prince. I like that 90s Fresh Prince with the neon, Carlton and Hillary. Not sure how he'll do it. I thought his initial response was outstanding and made me respect him far more than I ever have. And I'm a huge Chris Rock fan. I think he's one of the funniest people doing stand-up ever. I don't presume to be anywhere close to as funny as Chris, but just him walking out, adjusting his jaw, maybe touch it a bit and say yeah, well that happened would likely get a huge round of applause. And then go on with his set like it never happened is likely what he'll do. After Paul Reubens was busted for this adult cinema antics, Pee Wee Herman introduced the 1991 VMAs by coming out and asking, heard any good jokes lately? https://www.youtube.com/watch?vfcxeajgdi's . If Jada can't take a joke about alopecia, then it's a loss. This is a good joke, but I just cannot imagine it coming from Chris Rock's mouth. Just flew from getting smacked at the Oscars. Boy, are Will Smith's arms tired. A comedian impersonating Louis C.K. did this joke after the whole Louis C.K. masturbation story came out. It went something like, I just flew in from LA and boy are my arms tired from masturbating the whole time. If there is one thing I have learned about Chris Rock after all this time, it's that the man does not need any help in writing some damn funny jokes. Whatever he comes out with, I bet the audience will love it. I wanna congratulate Will Smith for defending his wife's honor. She and her boyfriend must be very proud.